Welcome back to Blissful Body Journey. I'm Karen Gottlieb, Pilates and movement instructor for over 20 years. I'm here on this journey with you to help you find balance and bliss within our own bodies. Today we're going to dive into the top 3 form mistakes that I see all too often in Pilates workouts. These mistakes can not only hinder your progress and make your workouts less effective, but poor form also puts you at risk for injury. So let's get right into it and make sure you're getting the most out of your Pilates sessions. One of the number one things I see all the time is that clients don't always get their lats engaged. It's very tricky, it takes some time, and it was very hard for me to learn this as well. What we tend to do is hold a lot of stress in our shoulders for obvious reasons, and we get kind of tense like this during the day, and we kind of carry it into everything, and this can hurt us during Pilates and make it less effective. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to find this muscle right under here, our lats. Feel like a strong connection with this drawing the shoulder down away from the ear. So if you bring your hand under your arm right about here, right, and just think of having maybe imagine there's a sponge there that you're just squeezing down to the floor. You can see how my shoulder goes from being up here closer to my ear to moving down away from my ear and having more space for my neck to feel free. And I try to find this in every single exercise, whether I'm flexing, whether I'm just doing arm work here. It keeps my triceps more engaged. It keeps the neck free, because what can happen during Pilates sometimes is that we can have neck pain if we're not really connected here with the lats. One thing we can do to kind of trick ourselves to get this connection, if you're having trouble with it, is hold, like you could roll up a towel, or if you have a ball, turn the thumb out so you're getting external rotation and just squeeze it to you, right? And that can sometimes get you to feel that little squeeze in the back of your armpit here. So armpits to the waist, try to think of the head just staying up and pressing the ceiling away. And we're just trying to grow space in our neck here and in our shoulder. Okay, just connecting in. And then we want to even keep that as we have our arm up and out to the side, anything, everywhere, any exercise, any Pilates exercise. Kind of find it under here. Another element that is important to think about is our rib cage and where it's placed. This is one for me that was also very difficult to learn, as I like to let my ribs go forward, and you can see as I let my ribs go forward, if I'm just totally relaxed, and my ribs go forward, you see how it arches my back, right? So that makes for really tight back muscles. So zipping my lower abs up a little bit and then letting the ribs come back into me, okay? So one cue that helped me was to think about keeping my ribs close to me, okay? Because I would always let them kind of go away, right? And then I used to always notice when, let's say I'd sit on the floor to play with my kids, I noticed I was always like this. I'd look in the mirror and catch myself. So it's about trying to just pull the ribs back and in, right? And you see how I actually have to put like my sit bones have to go down towards the floor and kind of ground into the floor a little bit. Because if we keep our ribs splayed and we're trying to do ab workouts, we're not gonna get a very good workout in our abs because the ribs aren't pulling in and our abdominal muscles are connected from our ribs to our pelvis, right? So if we keep them out and we're trying to work them out, it's not gonna build the strength that we want to support our back, and we'll still have that arched back. So we wanna keep the ribs in so we can really drop them good and pull them to the waist, and then keep them close to the waist, lifting that waist to the ribs. Another common mistake is overarching our lower back during exercises, having a little bit too much of an arch here or lordosis, right? Another thing that can be a problem is like an overly flat back. So when both feet are on the floor especially, we're trying to find a neutral position, which means we want to just have a little bit of space here, right, for our lower back to have its natural curve there. And then we want to try to find the lower abs and the pelvic floor muscles. So you can take fingers here and find your hip bones, and then go right inside the hip bones and kind of see if you can kind of hook in there a little bit. Take a deep breath.
And then see if you can keep just that slight curve. Pull your lower tummy in and up, and see if you can feel your pelvic floor muscles pull up and in to your fingers here. You should feel like they kind of lift up into your fingers and pull in towards each other. And this is the feeling you want during your any kind of Pilates exercise. You want to feel like these lower abs are engaged. You could also think about the belly button closing down and in, and a lassoing around your waist, just making it tighter here, right? So you want to think about pelvic floor engaging here, right on the inside of the hips here. See if you can find those muscles. I find them on the exhale easier than the inhale. Like the hip bones are coming in a little bit, maybe rotating to open up your lower back slightly, but not necessarily flattening totally like this. Keeping that little bit of a neutral position here, right? And then inhale, exhale. Good, and making sure you're not overarching. If you've got the pelvic floor muscles on, if you can feel them, you're definitely not overarching your back anymore. And then you can pull in and try to see if you can lift one foot, right? Inhale, exhale, one foot. Of course, if you're doing exercises, especially if you're a beginner, if you bring both feet off the floor, like an open chain exercise, you would make sure that your back's flat at first, right? And then you can work into bringing both feet off the floor in neutral. Once you feel totally confident, you have that connection there in the pelvic floor muscles.
Okay, to wrap up, keep these top 3 form mistakes in mind during your next Pilates workout. By correcting these common mistakes, you'll not only see better results in your Pilates workouts, but reduce your risk of injury. I'm closing this video with a positive affirmation, so let's close your eyes, repeat after me. The body is my temple, and I treat it with love and respect. Thank you for being here with me on this blissful body journey. If you found this video to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up because it really helps small channels like mine grow. See you in the next video.